Sonic X Shadow Generations is only a few months away, and with this game, we'll be able to visit several zones from Shadow's past. Recently, we got new footage comparing the zones in Sonic X Shadow Generations to their original counterparts, and they all look fantastic. But this got me thinking, what other zones are they going to add to this game? I mean, there's more that they haven't shown us, because we've gotten confirmation that there are more zones in the game that we haven't seen yet. So, let's talk about some zones that could be added to the game. So, here's the thing about Shadow Generations. They obviously want to keep a similar design to Sonic Generations, in the sense that it is also going to take one zone from each game Shadow is playable in. However, Shadow is only playable in like 4, maybe 5 3D Sonic games if you include Black Knight. So at a minimum, there should be 4 zones in the game, which, you know, is already confirmed. However, since there are only a handful of games to pick zones from, especially compared to the selection Sonic had, I think it's best to take into account the possibility that they could pull multiple zones from a single game. So, Space Colony Arc is 100% confirmed to be the zone from SA2. We've seen this zone teased multiple times, we've seen the first full act, hell, we've even heard the music. However, there are a couple of zones they could grab from SA2, those being White Jungle and Skyrail. The reason why I don't think Radical Highway could be turned into a full zone is because it's already being used for that wacky Black Doom City world that's going to be appearing in multiple zones, as evidenced by some of the screenshots. I could be wrong though, because in the Summer Game Fest trailer there's a Radical Highway remix that does not play during the city sequence. But anyway, out of White Jungle and Skyrail, I think White Jungle is the better pick. It seems like every level in Shadow Generations is going to have some sort of story significance. Space Colony Arc has the Bio Lizard, Rail Canyon is where Shadow first sees a Shadow android, and Kingdom Valley is where he first meets Mephiles. All of the confirmed zones for the game play a significant role in Shadow's backstory. White Jungle is where Shadow has his first showdown with Sonic, so that would work, but I would much rather have a newly remade Skyrail that isn't covered in Green Hill bullshit. Alright, now we move on to Sonic Heroes. My picks for heroes are Frog Forest, Hang Castle, or Egg Fleet. While none of these have much plot significance, it's also important to remember that visual variety is key. I'm sure we're all tired of casino levels and city levels and all of that stuff. However, if they do go with White Jungle, they're obviously not going with Frog Forest. I do like the idea of Hang Castle though, because I feel like it fits perfectly with Shadow's new Doom powers. On the other hand, I guess Egg Fleet would make some sort of sense because there's some plot details there. But yeah, that's really about it for heroes. The game doesn't even contain much plot for Shadow in the first place besides the identity crisis thing. On to Sonic 06. Other than Kingdom Valley, the best level in any Sonic game, there's a lot to choose from here. So the working theory I have at the moment is the reason why Kingdom Valley is in Shadow Generations is because this is where Shadow first meets Mephiles, which gives us the plot point. Given this information, I think some good picks for a second 06 level would be White Acropolis, Flame Core, Dusty Desert, or even Wave Ocean. However, I think Wave Ocean is the least likely out of all of these because while this is the moment where Shadow first reunites with Omega, that's really it. I think White Acropolis is almost a necessity at this point because even the base generations didn't have a snow level, and I mean, come on, we gotta have at least one. Not to mention how this is where Shadow and Rouge find the Scepter of Darkness, which is the thing that unleashed Mephiles in the first place. I'm also including Flame Core and Dusty Desert for similar reasons, mainly the fact that these levels contain the Mephiles boss fights. But my pick out of all 4 would be Dusty Desert. We all know the iconic scene at the end of Shadow's story that showed the evolution of his character, which gives Dusty Desert a lot of importance. And level design wise, they have a lot to work with here. Act 1 could take place in the actual desert portion, while Act 2 could take place within the ruins. Alright, so those are all of the games that are confirmed to be getting zones in Sonic X Shadow Generations, but obviously they also need to add a zone from Shadow the Hedgehog. This was the game that Black Doom was introduced in, and he is the main villain of Shadow Generations. Now, what zones could they add? You know, that's a tough one. They could really choose anything here, and it would help with the story in some way. So I think for this one, we should purely go off of aesthetics. A level that combines all of the city levels in the game would make sense. However, we already have that wacky Black Doom City in the game, so let's look at some other possibilities. Personally, I would love to see Digital Circuit or Lava Shelter, because these are some of my favorite levels in the entire game. I think Digital Circuit would be a better pick though, because a remade version of this level would look stunning on modern consoles. I guess Lost Impact could also be added to the game because this is the level where Shadow partners with Maria, so Maybe. It takes place on the Ark though, so they would have to do something to make it look different if they do go this route. And finally, we have Sonic and the Black Knight. If you ask me, I don't even think they're going to add a level from this game, because while yes, Shadow is technically in the game, those who played it probably remember that this isn't actually Shadow, but rather he's the storybook version of Shadow pretty much, meaning that they can't use this for story. However, remember that we still have that bonus level that's coming later down the line as part of the Deluxe Pass. I highly doubt this level will include any story significance, because by this point, the story should hopefully be wrapped up. So maybe they could throw in a Sonic and the Black Knight level for the fans of that game. It would be the perfect opportunity to do so. My pick for a Black Knight level is Deep Woods, because this is where you fight Shadow in the game. And the level is also very nice looking, but it does look a little too similar to Kingdom Valley if you ask me, so maybe not. Anyway, those are some zone predictions for Shadow Generations. Am I expecting all of these zones to be added? Absolutely not. I would be shocked if we get more than 5 zones, to be completely honest with you. I'm just throwing some ideas out there for fun, that's really it. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.